Capricorn, thank you so much for your patience. I have been under the weather, and that is why I'm very behind, but I'm happy to be here with you. The overall word that I'm getting right now for you guys for February is trepidation. And there's this feeling that, like, for some of you, it may not be, you don't exactly know who you can trust. For others of you, it's going to be, you're not sure who you can bring forward with these shifts that you're making in your life. You're not sure who you can bring on the journey. With the Three of Cups and the Nine of Wands, there is a hesitation to almost like trust the good times. Like let the good times roll. I feel like you may just be, you may have an association to things being like your friend circle is always involved with, like, let's say, toxic behavior in some capacity. Like where every time you start to have a good time with your friends, you end up drinking too much. And that derails you from your path. So I feel like there's this wondering if you can have both. Can you be happy? Can you have your friends and your social life and have your focus and have your expansion? Because with the Two of Swords and the Three of Wands, it's like, I know that there's a new path opening up in front of me. I know that I'm stepping into new horizons, where maybe I can live in my pleasure and live in my, in the place that I'm supported, in a place that I'm surrounded with like-minded people, in a place where I'm with people that celebrate me. But I don't really know what that looks like. Sometimes when we're getting ready to birth something new, or something that is more authentic to us, or something that we have prayed for a long time for, if we've never had it, right, which is most things that we birth we've never had before, right, and when we feel that urge where something's about to happen for the first time, we kind of just don't know what to do. And I do feel like this is more so about not doing, but being. And I feel like what you need to be is at ease. Because the Two of Swords and the Three of Wands both show people that don't have their eyes forward in the cards. And that's not a bad thing, right? That we don't have eyes on something. But I feel like if you're seeking answers in the physical about whether or not, you know, you're headed in the right direction, or that you can bring the people with you that you want to bring forward in your life or whatever, that's not going to be the answer. With the Two of Swords, too, there is a need to make a choice. If we want to see expansion, we are going to have to choose one route to it or the other. I feel like Spirit is also kind of showing you which one and which avenue is more expansive, by having one has more fun attached to it, not necessarily like careless fun or fun that's not progressive or fun that doesn't like birth anything new out of it. It's not like, it's not aimless, you know what I mean? But it's a different kind of enjoyment, a different kind of freedom, because that's the thing about the Three of Cups too. The Three of Cups talks about expression and feeling safe, creating art, creating something that resonates with your close-knit community as well. If you've never been able to get your art off the ground, or your talent, right, that part of you that is like just more abstract, I feel like Spirit is saying that you need to really listen to the whispers of the wind. I don't know why it just came through like that. The Star and the Page of Swords is believing in the impossible, really believing in miracles. And with the Page of Swords here, I feel like you're going to be getting little whispers and inclinations and small passing messages. These are going to be things that you could easily ignore, that you could easily pass over, but they're going to be paramount in knowing which way to move yourself forward. Whichever path you do take, you will be fine, of course, but one is giving you an opportunity to monetize your gifts, and to also have a real tangible opportunity to feel like a miracle has come true, especially one that really resonates with your inner child, and again, that level of creativity, that creative abandon, if you will. All right, my dearest Capricorns. Just a quick reminder, I am on hiatus from private readings, but I did release a poetry book that if you're interested in, you could purchase at the link below in the description box. The song that was playing in my head when I was laying your cards was Sweet Life from Frank Ocean. Which in that song, he's talking about someone that came from money, someone that's rich and just only knows the beauty and sweetness of life. They've never had to struggle. They've never had to, you know, endure, if you will. Because it's like, why see the world when you got the beach, right? So I feel like this is also about making the best of all the struggles you've been through and also accepting that you're in the sweet life now. That you're going to appreciate it that much more because you had to endure to arrive here. And it came to me when I was pulling the door that's now open for you that was once closed, which is the Knight of Cups and the Nine of Swords. And it's like, as you start to get introduced to the more sweet side of life and the more flow, easeful side of life, there will be temptation to think that it's too good to be true. There will be temptation to think that, well, every time something good happens, 3 bad things happen and blah, 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 blah. But you're at an impasse, okay, with the overall energy being the Two of Swords. You're at a point in your life where this is a choice, okay? Because, you know, we could be very vague and say that, you know, we always create our own reality, blah, blah, blah. But that's not really entirely true in every single regard. So at this point, struggling or thriving is a choice at this moment. Okay. Now I did pull a card from the Magdalene Oracle, and you guys got sacred sexuality, which was a dominant theme in the last eclipse reading I did, which closed out the Aquarius and Leo axis. And here we have the Star, the Aquarius card, and Strength, the Leo card. So wherever Aquarius and Leo fall in your personal natal chart, which is going to be different for everybody, you know, depending on whether you're a Cap, Sun, Moon, or Rising. I feel like that access, this reading is going to mostly pertain to whatever that access covers, okay? So, for example, if Leo rules your 9th house and Aquarius rules your 3rd house, this is going to have to do with different modalities of learning, styles of learning, the local community versus the broad world, right? Philosophy versus general studies, things like that. But with sacred sexuality, I feel like even though this says sacred sexuality, I feel like this is really tied to art in the art of creation, okay? What it means to dabble in the purity of spirit through creation. And we can obviously create anything, right? But just the process of creation, of incubation, of gestation, of, you know, loving something and birthing something from love and birthing something from purity and birthing something from a very sacred place. Sacred sexuality also talks about only engaging with people, whether it be in a romantic, sexual, or completely platonic way, that has a sanctified tone to it and really resonates to your core. So I feel like this is also about not entertaining people, places, things, opportunities that don't like turn you on, honestly. And I mean turn you on like from, again, the most internal, pure space, because there's no room anymore for just doing things for the sake of doing them or just out of duty, right? And I know you guys rule duty and Saturn is home and all that kind of stuff, but I feel like with Saturn being home, that's giving you more of a push to commit yourself to the sanctified, okay? And it's also giving you a power to be righteous, I feel like. And with the Two of Swords being your overall energy, I feel like what you're battling right now internally, which is not as fierce as it used to be, is what you're supposed to do and what you want to do. And I feel like you're going to learn this month how to fuse them. What you're being asked to leave behind, we have the Ten of Wands with the rune Disruption. and the Two of Pentacles with prosperity. So this is about thinking that you have to choose like what works well for you. Okay? Because the Ten of Wands for me, especially with disruption, I feel like is obligation. And about how obligation or financial constraints or anything that requires you to just kind of like do it because you have to. Interrupting your ability to make more money, to create more. And again, because the Two of Wands, kind of like the Two of Swords, is about options, right? And I feel like this is saying that you will be able to prosper in more than one avenue if you just eliminate this whole stress of like life is going to interrupt your plans. Because you may even have to merge like your traditional job with your artsy job or your dream thing, and learning how to balance both and have both. I'm sorry that I'm playing with this crystal, but it's a Lemurian seed crystal, and there's like mad past life energy this month. I just need it close. Because the Ten of Wands is about obligations and stress disrupting our life, right? And disrupting the flow, right? Because the Two of Pentacles also talks about flow and infinity, right? It has an infinity symbol, and how both things, even though they're on the opposite side of the spectrum, come together to meet at a harmonious point. So I feel like if there's two different endeavors, especially when it comes to the ways that you make money, especially if one has to finance the other that you've been wanting to do, or you need both to have a completely stable income stream, I feel like the answer is continue to do both, but to release the mentality that one is going to get in the way of the other. I feel like you need to make room for, again, that harmonious merging, right? Sacred sexuality is also the merging, right, of two bodies to create a new third entity, right, an energy. So it's going to be important, too, if you're undertaking two different tasks that serve two very different purposes in your life, that you also come to the understanding that they birth a third energy that you need, and that their coexistence is also very important, and that they harmonize each other even if they feel like they are complete opposites. The door that's now open for you, that was once closed, we have the Knight of Cups with the rune Wisdom, and the Nine of Swords with the rune Protection. Sometimes we feel like we need to protect ourselves from ourselves, or we need to protect our innocence through being nervous, through being anxious. And no one really talks about that, how sometimes we use anxiety or worries as a way to protect ourselves. Like we're like, oh, if I don't get nervous about this, then I'm going to get caught blindsided with my pants down or whatever. But I feel like there's a lot of wisdom in being able to move with ease with the Knight of Cups here. The Knight of Cups is a very, again, sweet life. It's someone who stops and smells the roses. It's someone who wants to appreciate the beauty in everything, seeing the fractal of God in every single essence that we see on this planet, right? And the Nine of Swords with protection, and I feel like is also saying that you can protect yourself from anxious thoughts and worst case scenario thinking by seeing the beauty in all things, and by finding the art in every mundane object in essence. And when you can find that shine, because it's almost like a glimmer. I'm seeing it's being presented to me as like a glimmer. Like you could be walking by something, like just a store window or something, and then you just see something catch the light, and you look in its direction, and it's something so simplistic that if it wasn't you that saw it, it would be lost on the person. But it's you, and it's your sign, and it's your little piece of heaven, and you catch it, and it just makes your day. And it's like the sign that you needed. And this is what I was talking about in the beginning with the star and the Page of Swords. There's a need to catch the smallest little signs and the smallest little indicators of a higher power in your everyday mundane hustle, if you will, in order to really tap into the wisdom. And I feel like that will also expand your art and expand your approach to life, and add this more profound energy to things, okay? Your current energy as it relates to all of this. In your head, we have the Star with the Nine of Cups. So beautiful. In your heart, the Four of Wands with the rune Friendship. And in your foundation, we have Strength. So first and foremost, with the Four of Wands in your heart and Friendship, I feel like it's important that you realize that now is not the time to go at it alone. I think that you've kind of gotten over that, but if you haven't, let this be your final reminder. Because I feel like it's safe to say that your friends are on the same page as you right now. They may offer complementary skills or skills that at first sight don't necessarily seem like they're on the same wave as you, but they ultimately are. The root of all of it is the same. And I feel like you are in a very comfortable space emotionally, and you're around a lot of people or have a lot of people in your life that can emotionally support you, and that emotional support is also very spiritual. There's a lot of connection in your life right now that is connected to your soul purpose. And it's safe to trust the people that you're around. It's safe to trust the people that feel like home. It's safe to trust the places that you feel comfortable. I feel like you may have wounds still around not trusting your own judgment with people and the people that you bond with, but I feel like that time has passed. With Strength in your foundation, because we also have the infinity symbol again, I feel like it's important to remember that all things are cyclical. And, we can't be down forever, okay? Especially if you've been down for a while, you can't be down forever. But you're rooted in resiliency right now. You're rooted in your truth. You're rooted in the fact that you understand the universe has laws. You understand the universe has a time and a place for everything, and now is your time to shine, okay? And you have to kind of be comfortable in that level of power. Both of these cards are also prominently more like orange-yellow, so I feel like we have this one here as well, so I feel like it's going to be really important that you, again, believe in that energy of creation and believe in what you're birthing, and especially in relationship to other people. I feel like you also need to trust your ability to birth things with other people. You may have had a mentality that probably proved itself to be correct about how when you try to get things done with other people, it's only going to take longer or it's going to fail or whatever. But I feel like you need to, I don't want to say be more forgiving, because this isn't about forgiving people or trusting people that have let you down. But I feel like it's about being more flexible and trusting the process. With the Star and the Nine of Cups in your headspace, these are both wish fulfillment cards. Okay, so I feel like you need to 125% believe in miracles. 125%. You need to have your thought process focused on the impossible and how possible it is, right? It's like the world is at your feet right now, Capricorn. But it's going to require your ability to, in the most elevated way, intertwine yourself with other people. With still having boundaries, with still having authenticity and independence, being able to see how essential you are to other people and other people are to you. There's something about a sacred dance. You know what I mean? Like how you dance together and then eventually through that spinning become one. And you create something magical in that, and then you unfuse. Because the Star shows two vessels being poured out, right? One to the earth and one back into the water. So what you're creating right now, and especially what is brewing in your mind. So if you're a writer, or if anything that you do requires writing or capturing ideas, I feel like now is a really important time to get all that out on paper, and never ever hold back what's coming to you. But what you're creating not only feeds the spirit and feeds the emotional body, but it also has a very practical application. And though the wish that you desire is selfish in some regard and self-serving, it's also going to serve the collective, because spirit only brings forward things that serve us just as much as they serve the whole. Spirit's advice on how to navigate this energy: we have the Hanged Man with the Ten of Swords. On the Ten of Swords, we have the rune Self. So I feel like there does need to be a surrendering of how we think things are going to pan out, or how we've believed our future was going to unravel or unfold. Because the Ten of Swords does talk about surrender, right? And I feel like you're needing to surrender over some sort of old identity that was holding you back from being able to step fully onto the path of the Ten of Cups, which is complete happiness. And I feel like you're a little bit of a skeptic, and that's okay. The Hanged Man is saying that whatever stalls you've been experiencing, especially in manifestation with your gifts, or with things that are creative in nature, is because you are still holding on to an idea of who you're supposed to be and how you're supposed to be. And I also feel like by the time Pisces season comes, this death, if you will, is going to flow a lot easier. And I feel like you're going to also, this is kind of like an ego death as well, and a death of like being so hard on yourself. And once you unravel the label you have on yourself and on your creative endeavors, I feel like you're just going to finally like have an aha moment as well, and things are going to slowly start to unfold. Going into March, we have the Eight of Cups with the rune success, excuse me, and the High Priestess. The High Priestess has come out in everyone's reading so far today. I feel like you will, again, this will, whatever is going to unleash itself during Pisces season this month, I feel like it's gonna allow you to successfully walk away from your old emotional stories that limited your expression, limited the way that you tap into your own intuitive body as well. Because we have a 2 here, and we have a 2 here, and we have a 2 here. So this is all about pairs, right? And pairing off, right? Sacred sexuality, the combination of the other. And then on the bottom of the deck was the Secret, which is someone who's really in meditation and gives me these High Priestess vibes. And it's like the secret is feeling confident in showing yourself to another person too. Because you know what? It's easier to do things alone because no one else sees your failure and no one else can disappoint you. And there's a certain level of bareness and nakedness that is required to create with another person. And it's like trusting that what you're doing is going to pan out and all that kind of stuff, and you're putting your trust in another person. So if you've had trouble trusting other people, especially when it comes to creation and things that require heart-centered activity, which really all art requires heart-centered activity, I feel like you're going to move beyond those old limitations, especially when it comes to friends that have disappointed you, okay? Or soulmate connections that have disappointed you. I don't really mean soulmate in a romantic sense. I really mean like people that you swore were your soul tribe. I feel like you're going to successfully move away from those, and you're going to, whatever like spiritual lesson you were supposed to learn for like the last year is just going to click. Just like that. All right, Capricorn. I love y'all, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.